Welcome to One More Thing. I'm Pastor Brett Watson. I'm here with Pastor Troy, and we were talking about this this past Sunday, the first of Practical Prescription 4.0.
That's right.
We started off with the prescription that we're supposed to repeat to ourselves every day.
That's right.
That's the prescription. I am loved, accepted, and free.
Yeah, and that's one you came up with, man. That was we've used
4
it
years
before.
ago.
4 years ago, we've used it. Right, I wasn't here, but
Yeah.
we read it and we're like, that's gonna go and frame this sermon really well.
One. It is. What I really wanted to get to in class was the free part, because I asked them. I said, "What does it mean to you to say that you're loved, accepted, and free? And what's easy about that? What's hard about that?" And so there was a lot of talk about how difficult it is to be loving and accepting of self more than anything else.
Yeah.
And so we got onto that, and that took up the whole hour. But it was a great talk, but I really wanted to get to free. What does it mean to be free, right? And I loved what you said, and I highlighted it because you didn't
Okay.
in your notes. Freedom is the frame in which all the fruits of God's Spirit flourish.
Yep.
I love that. And I think that, while we can't know the fullness of God's plan, his plan, his creative / redemptive plan, it seems to me that one of the plausibilities, I would say, is that that freedom is central to it.
Mm-hmm.
Without freedom, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even saying that, I know I can hear Kevin O'Hara in my ear, quoting Yuval Harari on, well, we're not really free. Everything is the result of, or my buddy Bryce.
Yeah.
As a determinist.
The determinist out there.
But so I would say that we don't have, maybe you agree or disagree with this, but I don't think that we have the kind of freedom most people imagine they have.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is cause and effect to pretty much anything that you can
for sure.
Think about.
That's right.
And so, but I do think that given the premise that God, an intelligent, super intelligence created this universe, that there is freedom at the center of the goal for creation, especially for sentience.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was a really just a great way to frame it.
Yeah.
By saying that it's the frame.
The frame in which the fruits will flourish. It just came to me because what I pictured was literally, I almost brought a frame with me on stage, and here and take a selfie, right? And I could see the images of the fruit with sort of love being that first prominent image, right? From which the other fruits grow. And so that freedom idea, that's how Paul starts off this sort of teaching. Like, you're free. And the freedom you sort of choose to follow is going to dictate the fruits that follow you, right?
Yeah.
Because you can live recklessly and selfishly. You can choose to live that life if you want. And that has fruits that you will bear. And I think the idea of freedom, whether we, to get bogged down into the philosophical notions or sort of neurological notions or, physical notions of freedom, I think Paul wouldn't have had any idea about that, right?
No.
He's saying this freedom is God will not strike you down. There used to be this fear, like, God's going to strike you down if you disobey or whatever the case may be, punish you. Because even the disciples, when they see the blind guy, he's like, who sinned? This guy?
Yeah.
Like, God struck this dude for something.
That was the popular thinking then.
That's it.
And it's pretty much the popular thinking today.
It's around.
God needs to take care of these suckers,
It has not faded. But that freedom is, you're free to choose. But there's a better way. And so I tried to really initiate, even though I'm loved, accepted, free was the last sort of proclamation, I wanted to begin with it because that's how Paul begins, because he's framing these fruits. And I think it just naturally leads into, when I am free to be who God created me to be. And it's a very, what is that? There's only one plan for you to imitate God. And God is love. And I love how Roar says that. And if then God is a verb. God is not a noun in the way. God is not a being. God is being, right? So that's a beautiful, that's Heideggerian, man. That's my study. It's not this object.
Yeah.
It is this gerund. God is always already in the act of
Love.
It's, again, I tried to reiterate that passionately, powerfully, persuasively. Like, God, that's the only thing God can do is love. That's it. And it gets tangled up in our misidentification of what it means to experience like God's judgment or God's wrath. And even when God might have the right to do that, he chooses not to. Like I saw this apologist, man, I forgot his name, Voddie Baucham or something like that. He said, when you ask the question, why is there so much evil in the world, so much suffering in the world, but there's good God, God is good, God is love. The first question you need to ask yourself is, why would God, knowing what he knows about me, choose to not destroy me? And I went, what a ridiculous question. What a ridiculous
Really
question. Why? Because God is love. God is love. And that just doesn't permeate into one aspect of what I believe. It permeates into what I am becoming. Because if I believe that God is going to send me to a place of eternal conscious torment, then that goes against any idea or notion of love that I, through my own limited human reason, would never do to my own child, right? Like, dude, I have 3 children. And I know without a doubt, because they have, and I know they will, do something to devastate my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I know it. You know it as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids have done something to break your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Worthy of some sort of punishment, some sort of retribution. And what do? Because of the very limited, undivine love that you have, you relent. You go, come sit. Come let me hold you. That was wrong. But I love, like, again, Richard Rohr, we learn to love God first by getting it wrong.
That's it.
You gotta learn. You fall down on the bicycle ride, so you learn how to keep your balance later. You learn things first by getting it wrong, more than you learn by getting it right. So that's where freedom situates itself, is we're free to get it wrong first, so that we learn how to get it right.
And how do you even put together any kind of reasonable definition of love if there is no freedom?
Yep.
And in order for that to be, so love and freedom they have to go together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because nobody would say that their robot loves them.
That's right.
Okay. Have you guys seen these ads for this AI that I'll be your first AI girlfriend?
No, I've never
What do
seen
you
that.
think about that? And I can be as emotional as any human.
That's creepy.
Oh my God, that's so creepy, It's and we know that thing's not feeling anything,
No.
So the notion that there can even be love, I mean, forget that we're saying that God is love. That's the Christian notion, right? God is love. To say that there's no freedom and to believe that is just a contradiction.
Yeah, man.
And so that means that, like Rohr said, we have to fall down first. We learn to love God best by first falling down.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, man. It was a great sermon.
Thank you, man. I mean, I got a lot of compliments on I think it was the second point, or maybe it was the first point. But it's what we're known by, right? Like Jesus says, the people who follow me, you're going to know them by this one thing, love. That's it. Like, come on, man. Like, any addition to that.
He never added a list or a code of ethics.
No.
He never
No
listed
morality.
a bunch of dogmatic principles that you have to
No.
live by, believe in.
No.
There's no list like that.
You know him by love.
Period.
By love. And it's really funny, man. Like, we don't we do this, man? Like, we know we have people, like, even as pastors, bro, we have people in our life who they can't get a break. You know, they say something dumb, they do something dumb, but they have love. And we go, man, that sucks that happened to, but man, he's a good guy. Don't we say that? I mean, don't we?
Yes.
Like, that overrides sometimes. The love we have in our heart often overrides the stupidity in our actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what counts, man. Like, I tell my kids this all the time. Like, I never preach to them, bro. Like, I never preach to them. And, you know, I tell them the truth. Like, God loves you. Dude, all I ever wanted was, I don't care if you become a doctor. I don't care if you become a business owner. Be a loving person. Be kind. Be good. That will take you, that will open more doors for you than any education, than any degree. Be a kind person. And dude, when I'm around my children, that's what I see first and foremost. Out of all the dumb things they've done and stupid things they may have said.
Of course.
I mean, I did it as a kid too. But what they have that I look back on my life that I had to learn was, dude, they are grounded in love. And I think that's ultimately what we need to look for first in people. Is this guy kind? Is this guy loving? Because, again, the love in our heart will override any idiocy in our actions, man. And that's when people will say, I want to help you out. I want to help you get out of this situation you got yourself into. And that's how God responds to us. Because what is the scripture even lays it out? If you can't love, you don't know God. Like, that's it. And Jesus's followers are not known by so many of the things that we want to be known by our popularity or our celebrity, by the clothing we wear or don't wear,
Yeah.
you know, about the posts we make on our Facebook pages to just sort of exemplify or exude our love for Jesus. Like, great. I'm not against those things. Do them. But bro, if your life is not meeting that standard of love, like, are you kind to everyone? You're gonna post a Bible verse, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And you said this, I think it was last week actually, that if there's no action behind it, just doesn't matter.
That's right.
It just doesn't matter.
That's right.
And it's so true. That's why this belief-centric notion of Christianity is just, it's got to go.
Yeah.
It has to go. And we got to stop giving lip service to the notion of serving others and showing kindness, compassion, love, and actually be active in it.
Yeah.
This is the call to discipleship.
That's right.
It's not a creed.
That's right.
So,
I mean, you and I have said this before, and so much of modern Christianity, conservative Christianity, fundamentalist Christianity is about being right.
mm-hmm.
When it's about right being, how to live like Christ, even if we mess it up. Because I think there's been this misappropriation of understanding that Jesus was perfect, I'll never be perfect, and he gives you like this scapegoat, when in fact you just, dude, every day is a work of salvation and transformation. Every day. Some days are better than others, just like any other day. But am I becoming that version of me? And that's where I went off on that little sort of tangent yesterday. I said, what does that look like? Look at your little card. I'm loved, accepted, free. Let's start with just those three. Loved people, love people. Accepted people, accept people. Freed people, free people.
Yeah.
And then I can go on and on. Forgiven people, forgive. And that is the manifestation of that love, that fruit of love growing. And then that's where all the other tentacles, as we'll get to in the next couple of weeks, take root and really grow in our life, that peace, joy, faithfulness, gentleness, kindness, self-control, like all of these fruits, dude, start with love. If you, like, just to quote Paul, if you have all these other fruits but not love, that's rotten fruit.
One of the other things that you brought up, not this Sunday, but one of the things we talked about quite a bit is the importance of proximity.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I would love people to grab hold of this, that if you find it super challenging to love people unconditionally, or let's just say a person in your life
mm-hmm.
with that kind of unconditionality, be purposeful, use your freedom to gain some proximity with that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And actually get to know more about them. And it's almost like this miracle elixir.
Yeah.
That changes it empowers you to love, and has this magical way of just melting away the ice that you had in your heart.
That's right.
For that person. You know, when you get a news flash that a popular pastor did something wrong, but you know them personally, everybody else that doesn't know them personally, that's all they see.
Yeah.
Is that news flash and what they did wrong.
That's right.
You know that what they did was wrong, and you know that they love people.
Yep.
And it changes things.
That's right.
It's almost impossible to have that unconditionality, that quality in your love without proximity.
That's it. Dude, I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. Love is what changes my perspective and pushes me to proximity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way I say it's very Aristotelian, because we see it all over the place now, especially these high-profile pastors falling, making mistakes, and people just like going after them. Like, dude, I've made mistakes in my life. People have come after me, whatever. But the point is, you have to learn to separate the person from the action, because you are what you repeatedly do. And if you've done one thing wrong, that ministry or whatever deems to be, oh, now you're unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
No. Like, let's pull back, think about it. Is this a repeated thing, or is this a one-time thing? Because I know this guy to have loved people when they least expected it, and even more so when they least deserve it. And this one thing does not discount all of that, because this is what I have seen him repeatedly do, and this is more of him than this. So let's find out what this is and what this, because remember, what do we call sin? Sin is the behavior that is immoral that we witness. Wrong. Sin is what caused that behavior to manifest, right? When you have a cough or a fever, I don't say, oh, Brett has a cough or a fever. No, something is causing that cough or fever. The behavior that becomes immoral or sinful, whatever you call it, is a symptom of something deeper.
Yeah.
I want to look at what have I repeatedly saw in this person's life, as opposed to jump on the bandwagon of judgment, right? I'm going to coin that, jump on the bandwagon of judgment. Let's pull him back, take him out of these responsibilities, but love him through this and see what needs to be rewired, restored, whatever.
And of course, this does happen with many churches. They do handle things with love, and it should happen that way. But there are many, man. I went through my divorce. I had one pastor out of, there had to be at least a half dozen that came to me as I was going through all that.
Yeah.
And one of them was Christ-like with me.
Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it does happen.
It happens.
And kudos to those communities that handle things with love.
That's who we're known.
But that's how we're known.
That's how we're known, by love.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.